Powerhouse, presented by Alliant Energy.
Alliant Energy, we're on for you.
Bob Yap is a writer, columnist, and historic preservation expert. He travels the country teaching homeowners and contractors the ins and outs of historic preservation. We are so honored to have him with us today.
Honored, what a word.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
among the other things that you do, you're also affiliated with a pretty prestigious organization. Tell us about that.
Well, next to the National Trust for Historic Preservation, which owns Bruce Moore, where we are right now,
Right.
It is the largest historic preservation organization in the country. It's called Historic Landmarks Foundation of Indiana. And my job there is as a community preservation specialist, and I go all over the state of Indiana and I train small contractors how to do cost-effective historic preservation-oriented rehab. And I do festivals and I work with historic preservation commissions, and it's just I get to get up in the morning and just go out and be Bob.
That's
It's great.
great.
Yeah, it is.
Well, in all of your travels, I'm sure you've seen a lot. Do you see a resurgence in the interest of preserving old homes?
It's huge. Just look here. Today we're in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and you can look at the Wellington Heights neighborhood and other neighborhoods here, wonderful neighborhoods, and you can see that people are moving back into the central city, where you can buy a home, you can get more home with much finer details for less money per square foot than you can get on a cornfield development, where you tend to get the most redeeming architectural feature to be a three-car garage and vinyl siding, which is sad. But you get so much more texture and love.
And history.
And tree-lined streets and neighborhoods.
Right. Yeah. What do you think is the biggest misconception when it comes to preserving older homes?
I think it's twofold. I think, number one, that historic preservation costs a lot of money. From my perspective, historic preservation doesn't cost, it pays. It only costs a lot when there isn't competition in the community for the different crafts that are involved in it. And part of my job is to create more and more people to learn those crafts so that there's more competition.
Bring the costs down.
Right. And teach practical historic preservation. And the other one is that you can't make an old house energy efficient, which of course is not true.
Let's talk about that. That's what we're all about here on Powerhouse. So it is possible to make older homes more energy efficient, still maintain the integrity and the history of your home.
That's right. If you think of an old house, or any house, as if it's a chimney in a sense,
okay,
heat is rising through the building. You have very little heat loss through windows and outside walls as long as you stop the air infiltration. Now, if we blow insulation into the walls of an old house with plaster on the inside, we're going to cause a problem that you won't see in new construction, because code says when they frame up the house and they come inside and they put the insulation between the studs, they have to cover that with plastic sheeting before the drywall goes on. That stops the warm, moist air from getting into the wall cavity and wetting down the insulation. Now, how many old houses with lath and plaster walls have plastic sheeting behind that plaster? None.
None.
So the warm, moist air finds the hairline cracks, the casings, the baseboards, gets in, hits the insulation, condensates, wets it down. It loses all of its R value, permeates the backside of the siding, causes permanent paint failure, and then starts to rot the structural members inside the wall. So we never blow insulation into the sidewalls of old houses.
So a house, in general, a house is not a house. There's an old house and a new house, and they're different beasts.
They are different beasts, and that's exactly right. So stopping the air infiltration, lots of caulk and a good paint job, weather strip windows and doors, insulate the heck out of your attic, because that chimney effect, the heat's rising up. And then down in the basement where the beams, which we call the joists, floor joists, rest on top of the foundation, a lot of air comes in there. We stop that air infiltration. That's a big part of keeping old houses energy efficient.
You know, one of the biggest questions that we get pertains to older windows. What to do with older windows.
Yeah.
And I know you've got some thoughts on that.
Yeah, I teach homeowners and contractors how they can go in and restore original double hung windows, make them so they're easily cleanable, which everybody wants with the tilt-ins.
Yes.
Just a little different tilt. Make them as energy efficient, if not as high as double the energy efficiency, for less money than a replacement window.
I am intrigued.
Yeah.
When we come back, we're going to have more Bob Yap, so you stay with us.